Ever since 1999, one crossover fighting game franchise has been on the lips of gamers and even non-gamers alike, spanning each generation with a newer coat of paint and a newer experience. And with each iteration, it is still beloved by many. And we all thought with the release of the Nintendo Switch in March of 2017 that there had to be some sort of comeback, in any sort of way possible. Fast forward a year to March 8, 2018, and it was revealed. It was coming. What is up, Vab community? It's me, Leeson, and welcome back to LTA or Let's Talk About, a series where I can cover and give my opinions on different games and different forms of media and culture from all across the internet. Like always, feel free to suggest anything for me to talk about below. Now, before we get into this, can I just say how happy I am to see LTA 3 doing so well? Even after a month, it's still got a lot more views than the 2 episodes prior, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that video, and if you haven't already, watch the previous LTA episodes. Or hell, any of my videos, as it would mean the world to me if you did that to support the channel and make it grow. Regular old Smash, you can't get any better than this. Face off as many players or CPUs as you want, whether it could be a good old fashioned 1v1 or an 8-player battle royale if you're that kind of challenger and you feel like your body is ready. Shout out Reggie, we'll miss you. So you know the drill, choose your set, choose from a time battle or a stock battle, or fuck it, make it your own, whichever you prefer is up to you. And choose your preferred map. You could probably choose Battlefield, but that's if you're an unepic big noob. Epic Prank Roast 2019. But seriously, it's your choice. And oh yeah. So in Ultimate, they switched up the whole deal with the main Smash mode. When you first play it, you'll see that there aren't as many characters in your roster as you first thought. That's because they made it so you'll start off with a roster the same size as the original N64 game. So yeah, it will seem bland, but then you play and you realize after a few matches that you'll get these one-on-one battles with the characters that aren't even on your roster yet. And if you beat them, you'll earn them. This is how you add characters to your roster and how you build it up. If you keep at it and beat every character, you'll complete your roster and you'll feel very proud of yourself. Congrats. May seem like a tedious process, sure, but if you want your possible mains so bad that it would hurt if you didn't get them, then you better grind until you get your beloved main to be, only to find out that you're absolutely shit at maining them, so you throw your GameCube controller that was specifically remade for this game at your TV or monitor and cry because you know it was all doom and gloom from the start. But then you grow a pair and choose a new main. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it with regular Smash. But that's when you realize that there are other modes. So there's the regular Smash mode, pretty simple, nothing to it, but then there's the other stuff like Squad Strike, where you can make a team of 3 or 5 go against another team of 3 or 5, and then you mash all the buttons and you win, good job. There are also tourneys, which you and 31 other competitors try to duke it out and gain that sweet, sweet victory royale. Was that a Fortnite reference in 2019? Time for the fucking crusade! And then there are Special Smash, where you can choose from 3 different modes. Custom Smash, where you can adjust the size and status of your fighters to your liking for some interesting scenarios. Smashdown, where one by one you take on each character from your roster. And Super Sudden Death, where each fighter you have added to the battle, including yourself, all start at 300% damage. So one hit and a stock is gone. On the topic though, here's the thing about the other variants of the main Smash mode. I wouldn't say that they don't add anything to Smash at all because, well, they do. It's just that I feel like one mode in particular stands out to me as not being an actual main Smash mode, but rather a minigame of sorts. That mode is Special Smash mode. I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't belong in a main mode and should probably be in the minigames or something. But that's my opinion, you guys are always entitled to yours. But anyways, with that out of the way, next up is Eoin, who will be talking about the basic premise of World of Light story mode and the purpose of sprites. On to you now, Eoin. Hey everyone, it's Leeson in Post, and so before we get on to the second section, allow me to provide some context to the situation that went on with the second guest of this episode. So the video was originally going to be just me and Eoin talking on the 4 sections of the game we were going to cover in this video. I was going to do 2 and Eoin was going to do 2 as well. That was until I get a message from the second guest we'll be having in this video, saying that he'll be willing to touch on any section. I agreed because I feel like he would have a great input on our video, plus it would give Eoin a lot less to work with, making it easier for him. The guest's recording of the second section I asked him to do though is a little brief, only being about 50 seconds long. But I feel like it's short, sweet, and gets to the point. Keep in mind, it's his opinion though, so the things he might say about the spirits and World of Light you may not agree with, or agree with to an extent. So without further ado everyone, I give you NedVedSed.
Thank you, Leeson, for having me express my opinion about my favorite Smash game. So, World of Light. I honestly think that it's a very solid game mode to have. It has fan service, creative battles, a very large world to explore. The premise of the game is as follows. Everyone is dead. Except for Kirby, of course. You start off with only Kirby, but as you go on, you get to unlock more fighters in the form of battling them. You get to obtain spirits in the same way, of course. The spirits you obtain help you in many different ways, from increasing your smash attack all the way to poison immunity. I do have a problem with World of Light, and that is the lack of cutscenes. But the budget of the game would go way higher, we would have to wait longer, and maybe the game would be even more expensive, which are three things that I would never like. Overall, it's a solid game mode, and it's one of the best game modes I've ever seen in Smash history. Thank you again, Leeson, for having me, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one.
Jolly good day to you all chaps, my name is Xenowolf and I am here in Leeson's video for some reason. So a while ago Leeson came to me and asked if I wanted to be in one of his videos, and I accepted because I had nothing better to do. And because it was Smash Brothers related, what else was I supposed to say? So in this section I'm going to be talking about pretty much everything that isn't on the left hand side of the menu screen. So first up we have games and more. In stage option you will find 5 options, which are classic mode, training, Mii Fighters, amiibo and mob smash. And we've also got stage builder coming up, but that hasn't been released yet because Nintendo was too lazy to put it out in the first release. But to be fair though, I can't really imagine Stage Builder being much different from Brawl and Wii U and 3DS. But nonetheless, I am excited for Stage Builder because it's something that I've always looked forward to in a Smash game. But we're not here for Stage Builder, we're here for the other options. And first up is training. I mean, what do I really have to say about this? It's pretty self-explanatory on its own. Training allows you to pretty much train yourself and make yourself better at the game. Training allows you to play on all 103 stages, plus an extra one simply called Training. The training stage is pretty much a massive white stage with 3 sections on it, one of them resembling Battlefield. And it has a background that looks like it came out of a year 7's maths book. When you first spawn in training, you may notice that the actual CPU doesn't move. This basically allows you to beat the shit out of them and they'll do nothing about it. However, you can turn attacks on so that they attack you as well. If you're a pussy or just shit at the game, you can also change the CPU's damage to 999%, so that when you first attack them, they'll go flying off the stage and die. You can also turn on fixed damage, which doesn't increase their percentage at all, and also trajectory guide, which pretty much just gives you an example of where the CPU's launch trajectory is. Training also allows you to spawn in any item you want. This is a really good way of learning what each assist trophy and Pokemon does, which in itself is a very good way of learning how they attack and also how to defend yourself and attack them as well. Next up is Mob Smash, which contains Sentry Smash, All-Star Smash and Cruel Smash. Sentry Smash is where the player has to defeat 100 enemies as fast as they can. The CPUs do start out easy, but they do get harder and harder as they go along. All-Star Smash is very similar to Sentry Smash, except instead of Mii's, it's pretty much every fighter in the game. And Cruel Smash, other than being a nickname for my dad with a belt, is the same as Sentry Smash, except it's really fucking tough. It's basically what you would get if you put a human baby in a cage with a bunch of hungry lions. The amiibo mode is basically the same as training, but it's not you that's training, it's actually your amiibo. If you have any amiibo, then you can scan it onto your controller, and the game will put it into a battle with either you or a CPU. It allows an amiibo to train and grow stronger. That's pretty much all there is to talk about in amiibo mode, so now we're going to move on to Mii Fighters. Mii Fighters allows you to bring in any Mii that you've created on the system into Smash Bros. Ultimate. Once you've done that, you can give them things like headgear or outfits. Some of these outfits include characters that may have not made it into Smash Ultimate. These include Springman from ARMS, Skull Kid from Legend of Zelda series, Viridi from Kid Icarus, Isaac from Golden Sun, Ribbon Girl from ARMS, and the list goes on. You can also change your Mii Fighters movesets. So if you really wanted to, you could actually bring a character from another game who didn't make it in as a playable fighter and give that Mii that character's moveset. Of course, the movesets won't be fully accurate to the actual games and will only be quite similar. And one of my favourite things is that you can also change the Mii's voice. There are 12 voices to choose from, each coming in either low, normal or high pitch. And finally, in the Games and More section, we move on to Classic Mode. Classic Mode is nothing new to Smash Bros. In fact, it's been in the series as long as Snake has. Classic Mode is a 1 to 2 player mode which consists of 8 rounds. The player must defeat the CPU in 1 round to move on to the next one. The first 6 rounds being normal battles where players must defeat a number of CPUs. The 7th round, also known as the bonus round, consists of the player running away from a black hole while also collecting these gold balls. These gold balls will also give you a number of points, which will be added to your total amount of points at the end of the Classic Mode. The final round, being round 8, is a boss battle. Most of the time you'll just get a standard Master Hand and Crazy Hand boss battle, but occasionally, if you pick a certain character, you may get a different boss battle. Now some Classic Modes follow a pattern of being very similar to a character's original game. So for example, Pikachu's route will consist of only Pokemon, and in the end the first boss is Mewtwo and the second boss is Master Hand, and Simon's boss battle will have you facing Dracula. Now, just like the Mii fighters, not every classic mode can be fully accurate to a character's original game. Luigi's boss is Dracula, just like Simon's. Now, of course, Dracula isn't actually in the Luigi's Mansion series because he's in Castlevania, but because of his overall appearance plus his moveset, he does bring a good representation of enemies that are in the Luigi's Mansion series. So that's Games and More over and done with.
Until Stage Builder comes out.
So now we move on to Vault. Now, Vault contains 8 options, which are sounds, replays, records, challenges, tips, movies, shop, and also this present icon, which gives you presents through special events. Now, I'm not going to be focusing too much on tips, movies, and shop because they're pretty self-explanatory. Movies is where you can watch cutscenes from the game, such as the intro to World of Light and the beginning movie. Shop is where you can buy stuff with the gold that you've earned in battle. And tips gives you tips. So let's start things off with records. Records gives you a further 5 options, being stats, milestones, battle data, smash tags, and past opponents. Smash tags can only be earned while fighting other players in online mode. Past opponents lets you view the opponents that you've played against in online battles. Battle data gives you information on certain characters you've played as. This is a good way of giving you an idea of what your best characters are. Milestones just shows you what days you did certain events. Stats is very similar to battle data, except it shows information on the game rather than the characters. So that's records out the way. Now we move on to challenges. Challenges is a way that you can unlock rewards by completing certain objectives. And this doesn't just focus on regular Smash battles, this also focuses on online battles and spirit battles. Some of the rewards that come with completing these objectives may include songs, spirits, or Mii outfits. So next we move on to replays. Replays is where you can watch replays that you've saved after you finished a battle. You can also turn these replays into videos, but that requires an SD card. And finally, we move on to sounds. Sounds is where you can listen to all the music in the game, as well as the voices of all the characters, Pokemon, and assist trophies. And you can even create playlists of some of your favourite songs in the game. So that's the Vault out the way, and now we finally move on to online mode. The basic premise of online mode is to allow you to play with other players from around the world via Nintendo Switch Online. The first thing you see when you press online is 3 other options, these being Smash, Spectate, and Settings. Settings allows you to change your appearance online, such as your icon, colour, and even taunt messages. Spectate is, again, self-explanatory, you just watch other people. Pressing Smash, though, will lead you onto 3 more options, these ones being Quick Play, Battle Arenas, and Background Matchmaking. Quick Play will put you into a random game where you complete with other online players as you fight to raise your GSP or global Smash power. You can do this on your own or with another person if you like. Battle Arenas allows you to create your own rooms with your own rules or join other people's rooms. And background matchmaking is pretty much just a waiting room. It allows you to pretty much just play a regular battle while the game will search for an online battle for you to play. Once it's found a game, it will alert you and put you into that game. So that's pretty much all I had to talk about in this section of the video. So thank you so much to Leeson for letting me be a part of this video. And if you aren't already, then please do subscribe to my channel because I do a bunch of stuff which includes commentaries and even playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, believe it or not. So if you do decide to come along to my channel, then I will see you there. Cheerio!
Thank you so much Eoin, aka Xenowolf, for featuring on this episode of LTA. He was the main reason for the growth that I experienced more than 18 months ago, and without his support from his fans and whatnot, I wouldn't have reached 1k at all. Anyways, that aside, onto the 4th and final section. So this section is going to be talking about the overall aspects of the game itself. So I'm going to be covering the stages of the game, the gameplay and the handling of certain characters, and not all of them because that is going to take a good long while. I'm also going to be covering section 1, 2 and 3 as a whole, with all the game modes and variants and everything. Got that? Good. Let's get into it. In terms of stages, Ultimate brought back most of the stages from the previous games and remastered them. Or should I just say made all the textures high quality. The remastered stages don't look all too shabby honestly, and it brings a sort of nostalgic feel whilst bringing a whole new look to the scene. But notice that I did say most of the stages, which means there are still a few stages that could have been added to the game but were left out for whatever reason. Now granted, some of the stages that are left out are similar to stages that are already in the game. But if this was truly the ultimate send-off to the series, why not include them? And the game doesn't even have stage builder yet. So in terms of stages, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for including most of the stages from each entry, but it's disappointing that some stages that were really good haven't made it into the game at all. And for the fact that Pac-Land was chosen over Pac-Maze. Why? Pac-Land is atrocious. And no, I won't take that back for those who actually like it somehow. Anyways, onto the gameplay and the characters. There are 3 types of characters that I would like to talk about. Those being the light characters, the normal build characters, and the tanks. Light characters like Toon Link move fast but don't necessarily deal a lot of damage. Normal builds like regular Link are, well, normal builds. Around average damage and around average speed for any given character. And the tanks like Ganondorf deal a lot of damage but can be slow and clunky as fuck at times. games. For certain characters, the amount of damage that is to be dealt to someone can be based on the attack though, not just what type they are, no matter if they're a light or a tank. So some characters may only deal around 30% with a charge move, but others can do around 50%. It just may depend on the character at times. Now to main a certain character, you need to be aware of every single move in your arsenal and know when to use them with every sort of scenario. And you also need to be aware of how big they are, because that would mean to be aware of how big their hitbox is. Now hitboxes in this game are kind of janky and flawed, honestly. A good example being Crom's forward smash. You could stand a mile away from that fucking sword and it will still hit you. Although the hitboxes are a little janky, the roster itself looks pretty good. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if any character from any game series was added to the roster. If it was a character I really liked though, I would be hyped. I think it's cool if Sonic goes toe to toe with someone like Joker from Persona 5. But overall, characters get a 7 out of 10. I like the roster of characters and some of the controls for them are fine, but the hitboxes need to be worked on. And finally, we'll speed through the previous 3 sections. So section 1, regular Smash gets a 9 out of 10, may need a tweak or two, but otherwise it's perfect. Section 2, Spirits and World of Light gets a 6 out of 10. Honestly, not as good as Subspace Emissary from Brawl, but in terms of the story mode, I think it's still a decent game mode nonetheless. And I thought the Spirit system was interesting to say the least. And finally, section 3, everything else gets a 7 out of 10. The other game modes like Classic Mode and Mob Smash were good, and the online mode is okay. Only flaw being that the online servers aren't that good considering it's Nintendo and they're kinda behind the times in terms of online services. But looking past that, it's fun to fight against other people from across the world in this game. And the vault is, well, just the extras that nobody except a completionist cares about, really. Still pretty cool though. And at last, the final total for everything in this game comes to a 37 out of 50, or about a 7.4 out of 10. Now that might seem like I don't like this game too much compared to how many others do. And that may be correct in some way, because there are definitely people who think that this is their favourite game of all time. However, that does not mean I don't like the game itself for what it's worth. I was just being really judgmental about the game. It is everything it's worth. It's a fun, pleasant experience for everyone, and I would highly recommend getting the game if you haven't already. But to answer the question of was Smash Ultimate worth the hype, I'll have to say, yeah, it kind of was actually. Sure, to some people it may have been more disappointing with the outcome because of what it initially promised, but if we step back and look at the bigger picture, the game is really fun and it's a great experience. Just like the other Smash games that preceded it.